Good afternoon everybody and welcome to round 10 of the AOR F1 2013 Season 7 Championship. It's the Italian Grand Prix. We're going around the Monza circuit today. I'm Matthew Gallagher and joining me once again in the commentary box for a very exciting race I'm sure, it's Scott Woodwis.
Thank you very much, Matthew. Good afternoon, everybody. And of course, we're here at one of the oldest Grand Prix circuits in the world, the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza. And this circuit is the definition of high speed, long straights with big braking zones and tight chicanes. It's really going to be a fantastic spectacle. Now, of course, we didn't race here last year, which is the reason why it's in the Season 5 podium, but it really is a wonderful circuit. These guys are going to be looking at low wings, high top speeds, long gearing. This is going to be a great chance to get some great slipstreaming in and hopefully a lot of overtaking. It's a really high speed race, as we said, and hopefully that'll lead to plenty of action, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of it overtaking with the low wings and the high speed, as you say. The Season 5 podium, as we didn't race here in Season 6, Raven took the victory, who no longer races in the AOR. Noble 299 coming second, and xMattyG coming home in third. The Season 5 pole position went to TRL Limitless, in fact, who is racing in the league, but he didn't finish on the podium. So, let's see what happens in Season 7 for the Italian Grand Prix.
Welcome to the qualifying comparison for this week's race here at the iconic Italian circuit that is Monza. We've got Mazy CZ and Fisi fan 91 on the screen today as we head down the pit straight, the fastest part of any track on the calendar. We're now the rev limiter in 7th gear, hitting the brakes hard at the 150 metre board, slow it all right down for this tight first chicane. Important to try and avoid the big red curves as they can very easily upset the rear of the car, and any time lost on the exit of a corner around here is very critical to the lap time. Easing the car around this long right-hander before braking for the second chicane at the start of the second sector. 150 metre board again, just on the right after the shadow across the track, flicking the car left and then right, and again watching the traction on exit as we head into Lesmo 1 and 2. Third gear, try and use the camber of the corner to carry good speed through here before setting up for the second part, which is again third gear and using the camber to carry as much speed through there to help power you down at what is going to be the second DRS straight in qualifying and the race. Building up through the gears, dropping down the hill, passing under part of the old oval part of the circuit before entering the final sector and the Ascari chicane. Very important corner, so easy to misjudge the turning point, but very rewarding if you can nail it just so. A small corner cut from Mazy there, which would have gained him a little bit of time over Fisi as they exit out now down towards the final corner, known as Parabolica, easing the car over to the left, look for the 50 metre board and then chuck the car in, downshifting into third gear, try and pick up the line with all the grip to help carry good speed through there, and then the run to the line sees Mazy coming out on top this week, and he'll line up in 5th with Fisifan coming home in 8th place in qualifying, some 3.5 tenths behind. Back to your main commentators now for the full qualifying classifications.
Thank you very much once again to Harry Jacks for that qualifying comparison. Now let's take a look at the grid for the Season 7 Italian Grand Prix at Monza. It's yet another pole for championship leader Noble 299, and he takes it by over 4 tenths of a second from the very impressive TRL Martin in the Ferrari, continuing his stunning debut to take a front row slot on the grid. Row 2 sees the second Williams of xMattyG and the Caterham of TRL Qualy on Row 2. Row 3 sees the Czech driver Mazy CZ and Jason 97 F1 with another impressive performance in the Force India in 6th. TRL Minty starts 7th with Fisifan in the first of the Red Bulls 8th. SE Racing Team is up in 9th in the second Caterham, with TRL Limitless the highest prime tyre runner in 10th in the second Toro Rosso. HyperX Callum in the second Force India takes 11th. RickeeyC has a less than stellar qualifying in the McLaren to start 12th on the prime tyres. And as for Trace 92, his Red Bull didn't set a time, but he will start on the prime tyres also. 2 non-starters today, the Continents in the Sauber and Randy McScrandy in the McLaren, and we have 1 driver missing as the Big Shot has withdrawn from the league due to personal reasons, which means that only 15 cars left in the championship, and I'm sure we'll get a replacement by the next round. There's the grid, now let's head out there for the Season 7 Italian Grand Prix.
It's race time. It's the Italian Grand Prix. It's xMattyG and RapidScorpion commentating for you today. There is no chance of rain. There's sun in the sky and no chance of precipitation. There's a vacant grid slot as xMattyG has disconnected from the race, Scott.
And that could have a major complication on his championship. Of course, Noble's on pole and could extend it further with another race victory. But the likes of Martin and also Limitless, who's back in the pack, this could be a fantastic race as we get set for the lights here for the Italian Grand Prix. It's going to be a great one, I'm pretty sure.
I'm very much looking forward to it. The lights are coming on now. It's a very long straight down towards turn 1. Here we go. We've got 5 lights, and the lights are out, and away we go. Everybody going up a slot apart from Noble and Martin on the front row. And Noble, we're on board with now. The Williams going very defensive down towards turn 1 already as Martin is looking to the outside. He may have used some curves. Now breaking down towards turn 1. Mazy has hit Qualy, who has then sent Martin across. That's Minty going round backwards as well in the Toro Rosso. And there's been absolute carnage down into the first chicane caused by Mazy. And I think that's pretty much done by Mazy, actually. I'm not too sure if anyone else has hit anyone, but Mazy carrying on in 5th place at the moment. But I would be very surprised if he does not come away with a very severe penalty, which I'm sure he deserves, as Minty was facing the wrong way, I think, due to everybody piling up. But hopefully we'll get another replay on that. But Limitless has come out very, very well indeed. He's up into 6th place on the prime tyres. So that's worked out well after a very poor qualifying from him. He's actually used up all of his option tyres as Mazy goes into the gravel, and Limitless now up to 5th place. So maybe this has actually worked out well for him, starting a little bit further down the field, because you never know. Mazy could have been the one that hit Limitless in the back had Limitless qualified on the option tyres. But Limitless up into 5th place and having a very strong start to the race. Mazy going backwards, and I'm sure he will get a penalty. But Scott, I don't know, what do you make of it and the incidents down in towards turns 1 and 2?
Well, the opening corners, that was an absolute carambolage down to the opening corners on there. I think the one who really lost out the most was Martin. He got pushed off into second, pushed down the escape road by Mazy, and of course that sent everyone else around him. Of course, Minty got turned around by Fisi, kind of almost not of his own accord. So really, I think it's been a real shame for a few drivers. But of course, the man who's really benefited is Limitless. He's looking to make another move now, as of course we see somebody lagging quite a lot. As we've now got Limitless and Essie going side to side into the opening chicane. And Mazy now following suit, of course, who is possibly racing under a cloud with that penalty looming overhead. And that's Martin behind him, of course, in 6th. Now, I did see there was a Ferrari lagging quite a lot on Limitless' screen. So I think Martin's having some problems, possibly with some lag issues, I think. But he's back down in 6th. And behind this battlers, now we've got Essie trying to get back past Limitless. Essie, of course, started now in around about the mid-pack, but he's up now into 4th spot and just a place away from getting onto the podium. But we're coming back to the replays here. Just take it through it, Matty, because a good start from Noble. And Martin was able to run level with him down towards turn 1. But then, of course, it all kind of came together to a head at the opening chicane, and then just absolute chaos. Yeah,
so Noble's come and gone down on the inside line to defend into turn 1. Martin's been absolutely ploughed down the escape road, and he just had nowhere to go. I guess it was kind of lucky because he actually had that escape road. If there'd been a wall, I think it was pretty much game over for him. But Mazy just really not taking any consideration for the drivers ahead of him going down towards turn 1. And this is Limitless, and we're getting a replay on him. So he's already gained 1 position, and then he just goes up the inside and gains another 3 because Minty got collected by Fisi. And there was just a bit of a parking lot, to be honest, and everybody just didn't really know where to go. Minty was blocking Fisi, and then Ricky getting caught up with it as well. And all of these drivers losing so much time. Noble coming out unscathed and getting away. And yeah, as you saw, Scott, here we go. Here's Martin having the biggest lag spike I've seen for a long time, going from 2nd down to 6th place. Because I mean, usually you might see a driver lose maybe 1 or 2 car lengths, but he lost 4 positions, which is crazy, and I'm sure he is not particularly happy, considering he was actually challenging Noble down towards turn 1 and may have taken the lead had Mazy not have smashed into the back of his rear end. But who knows? It's a very good track to overtake on, especially if you can stay in a slipstream train, which is what Limitless SC Racing Team and Mazy just about is, and whoever's in 6th, I think that's Martin. But slipstream is very important round here. But importantly for Noble, he's away, and the person in 2nd also does not have any advantage of slipstream, because Noble's probably got 2-3 seconds already, and we've seen it too many times in the past that when Noble gets a gap, it's very, very difficult to catch him.
And I think something else we have to bear in mind, that those guys that got caught up in the first corner incident, of course, in order to catch up, they're going to have to burn fuel and use a lot of curves a lot more often to try and catch up to these guys in front, and that could really hurt them towards the end of the race, because if you're being forced to burn off a lot more fuel with a more richer fuel mixture, that's going to really put pay to any kind of charge you're going to try and put on near the end of the race on a fresher set of tyres. As we now watch Essie's forced Limits to go straight across the chicane over at the Roger, and that's now allowed Mazy to go up the outside and take 4th position I should say, from Mazy. And he's now going to come back up the inside, and the Caterham's going to try and make a move into the 2nd of the Lesmo corners, and he's managed to get through. A little bit snaky on the exit, but Essie's got the pass done, and now he's also got DRS open, which means he'll be able to close in that gap that is now between him and Limitless in 3rd. But of course, Mazy, we're yet to see who's going to be given any kind of penalty throughout the race. I'm pretty sure the stewards are going to be looking at that one in the opening couple of laps, and if there is a penalty, of course, it'll be added on at the end of it, to his race time. But now SE Racing Team in the slipstream again, looking to try and make another move onward Toro Rosso down towards the parabolic. It's a rather tight corner on entry, then it opens out on the exit as you then fire your way back down onto the pit straight. And Mazy getting into Lee Mix 1 because he can do that, because he'll have DRS and he'll have using up all his curves. And the rear wing is open, but of course SE has the same DRS wing open on his car as well. And he'll be trying to make his way down towards the first corner to try and gain any car time, and Limitless, who himself is trying to close in on second place, and a little bit more oversteer on the exit, which is now allowing Mazy back into this. So a wonderful scrap for third, fourth and fifth so far, with Martin back in sixth. And you have to really feel for him, of course, through no problems of his own. Of course, his connections let him down, and as we said, dropped him 4 spots. He's got it all to do with some 23 laps of racing left to go.
Yeah, what's interesting is that Qualy up in second place after all the shenanigans that went on in the first few laps. He's actually dropped away from Noble quite a hefty amount. I'm not too sure if he suffered a lag spike or if he just made a mistake, because he's really fallen off the back of Noble. I mean, he was quite a few seconds back now, but he's actually falling into the clutches of Limitless, who is in third position on the slower prime tyres. So Limitless is looking very good already for a podium after starting in 10th place, as Fisi goes down the inside of Jason into the last corner and is up into 7th place after that incident at the start with Minty. I'm sure Fisi won't get any sort of warning, because it wasn't his fault that he hit Minty. It was just unfortunate circumstances. As SE Racing Team sets the fastest lap with the help of DRS and Slipstream, he almost hits Limitless. I think he may well have, with a slight bit of lag, and Limitless has had to carry on. And he's actually, well, Limitless isn't actually slowing down at the moment. He's carrying on right behind Qualy. So you would have to say that he's maybe gained a slight amount by going straight across, but it depends whether or not he actually got hit over the chicane. But then again, you know, he should really relinquish the advantage that he'd gained. But he's still behind Qualy at the moment, so I'm sure he won't have too much to worry about, as Ricky actually goes purple in the first sector, again with the help of DRS and the slipstream down the first straight, and also the DRS zone here as well. So there's 2 DRS zones this afternoon, meaning that the drivers have 2 chances, or 2 very good chances, to overtake, and then they can also try and save their curves for the next, after Ascari, they can try it down the next straight as well. So there's lots of overtaking opportunities. Limitless getting very close indeed, and actually going into the gravel, and that's Mazy going around the outside of 2 and up into 3rd position now. So a lot of guys going wide there for some reason. I'm not too sure if Limitless caught a bit of dirty air as Qualy was going wide, but Mazy now challenging for 2nd position at the moment. So Mazy actually, after that very poor driving in the first corners, now driving very well indeed, and he's up into a podium position, which I have not seen for a long time for Mazy, as he's diving into the pits. And Limitless obviously carries on as he's on the slower tyre, and so is Ricky as well. So Ricky not looking too bad either, and they're all in the pits now, so they're all going to be going onto the prime tyres, I'm pretty sure, for a longer second stint, as Fisi comes into the pits now. Oh, he's just coming out of the pits actually, in 9th position, ahead of TRL Qualy in fact. So that's interesting. Qualy, I think, actually got held up quite a lot there. I'm not. Yeah, let's maybe when we see a point of view of Fisi again, just to check that Qualy is definitely behind. But Qualy was up in 2nd place before pitting, and now he is behind Fisi. So that's very interesting. He must have been caught by the fact that he was further down the pit lane in the Caterham. But some very unfortunate luck for Qualy there, Scott.
Yeah, and of course, I'm pretty sure all these guys that are going on to the prime time this first stop will be doing a 2-stopper, so of course if they start on the options, they'll be running 2 sets of primes all the way to the end of the race, I'm pretty sure. This is Mazy now a lap later. He gets through around, that was TRL Martin, I think, in the Ferrari. So as next out of the pit, it's now Fisi, who's out in 8th. So Martin's lost another spot during the stop, so that really hasn't gone well. After starting on the front row of the grid, it's almost gone from bad to worse with his lag problems, and now of course the poor stop and the poor in-lap. That's now on board Ricky. He was one of the few guys that started on the prime tyres, and he's tailing the back of SE Racing Team, who's using all the curb and a bit more. It's now allowing the Irishman to try and pull alongside the Caterham drivers. They head down underneath the bridge and towards the Ascari chicane, and even with the aid of DRS, couldn't get away. The SE Racing Team's run a little bit too deep onto the first part of the chicane, as Fisi's now looking to get onto the back and make a move himself on Martin. He's got a third of his curves left, and also DRS is wide open. And now looking just ahead, it's Mazy looking to make a move on Trace, but he starts at the back of the field after setting no time. He's also on the prime tyres. So these guys who are coming through the field really are taking advantage of that. Looks at SE's pulling to the right to pull into the pits, and Limitless is into the pits as well on lap 7. So that's an unusually early stop for somebody who started on the prime tyres. But we see Ricky carrying on into the lead. Obviously, he started to qualify down just outside the top 10 around 11th spot, as the Toro Rosso boys complete their work on Limitless's car, as do Caterham on SE Racing Team, and away they go. as Fisi now is back in the tow, as Noble sets in the fastest lap of the race on those fresh tyres. So 1:23.267. And Fisi almost coming into blows there with SE Racing Team as the Caterham headed out of the pits. And they're all starting to squeeze up now through the first chicane. There's about 6 of them together. It's a fantastic fight going on. In fact, 7 of them, in fact, because I can see Macaulay's getting involved and SE Racing Team. So the 2 Caterhams have dropped back to 8th and 9th respectively. As I'm now looking at, looks to me, I think that was Martin getting around Fisi, I think. Yes, it was. The 2 Red Bulls now running in 6th and 7th, you can see. But it was Traceby and Fisi. And now Mazy's getting a better exit than Limitless up the inside of the Toro Rosso into the first Lesmo, and that's Mazy into a podium spot as Fisi gets past his teammate for 6th spot, and he's dropped back 2 spots because Macaulay through. In fact, it's 3 places because Essie gets through. So a disastrous piece of driving there from Jody to get himself onto the dirty part of the circuit and just get himself offline and lost 3 spots in one corner. That's very unfortunate as Limitless is coming back at Mazy into Ascari under brakes. And the Sab was trying to go round the outside. A very bold move as that's Ricky off on the gravel at the final corner. Now, running a little bit too wide. Is he going to have to come into the pits? No, he's on those prime tyres, so he'll stay out for a little while longer. But it's action all the way, and we're only coming up to roughly around a third race distance. So already there's action aplenty here at Monza.
Yeah, unfortunate for Ricky there, because he was running really strongly up in, well, what is first place at the moment, but he would be, if he pitted then, he'd probably come out right in this fight. I don't even know how many cars in that train, but there's quite a lot of battling going on. Fizzy's now going defensive. He hasn't got DRS, so he hasn't got that to use to defend 6th position, but Macaulay's having a look round the outside, but Fizzy just about managing to stop for the first chicane and maintain 6th position. But Ricky, I don't know if Ricky should have maybe dived into the pits there, because I'm pretty sure he would have lost so much time just going down that straight, having lost so much straight line speed going into the gravel. But he decided to carry on. He didn't decide to do what Limitless did and pit earlier, as Mazy's locking up slightly and carrying on over the chicane. And Mazy driving very well, you have to say, apart from that, obviously, but he's up in a very solid position at the moment. And I'm hearing from the stewards that there is actually, he only got a reprimand, a serious warning, and there's no further action taken by the stewards. So Mazy is racing for position as we get a replay of people. This is a very close incident with Fizzy and the Caterham of SE Racing Team. And here we go. This is Ricky now relinquishing the lead. Well, no, not yet. Noble hasn't actually caught him yet, but Noble has got an absolutely huge margin out in front, and I'm pretty sure that is an unassailable lead. And I don't think anyone would bet against Noble taking the victory, as he takes another fastest lap of a 23.1. But everything's worked out for Noble so far in this first 10 laps. As who's that coming up the inside? That must be Macaulay. Yes, it is in the Caterham. Can he stop it on the apex? Yes, he can, and he takes 6th position away from Fizzy Fan. But I'm sure Fizzy will have something to say about that in the next DRS zone, as Ricky is now coming under pressure from Noble, who is, oh gosh, that must be at least 10 seconds ahead of Limitless, and he's coming through this first Lesmo. Oh, it's actually 10.5 seconds, not a bad guess. Coming through Lesmo 2 now. He's going to get DRS on Ricky. It doesn't really matter if he gets past now or not. He's got time to blooming kill at the moment, but Noble is going to the outside and retaking first position. It is all too easy for the Williams driver. He's got no teammate to battle with him today, and Limitless is a whole 10 seconds back. So Noble looks like he is cruising and on his way, as Ricky is not cruising and he's sliding into the gravel and losing even more time. He really should be pitting this lap and getting onto some fresh rubber, as he is struggling so much. Fizzy slightly cutting Ascari there, but losing time to Macaulay, who took a more optimal line by the looks of things, and getting away down this straight. And here we go, is Ricky. Just can't get any traction in that McLaren. You can see his front left and his rear right tyre look very, very worn indeed. So he's coming to the pits now, and I'm pretty sure he won't even be in this fight after the mistakes he's made. So that's unfortunate, as he goes onto the option tyres. So maybe he's thinking he's made some mistakes, and now he's got to set in some very fast lap times to catch up to this train of probably about 8 cars.
And the trouble is that because the pack is so close together, even at this stage in the race, we're on lap 11. So we're approaching kind of half distance in this race. The pack is so close together, so by the time that Ricky comes out, he'll find himself right at the back of it. In fact, yes, you can see he's back in 10th out of the 11 cars we've still got running. So what was the lead? Of course, he was passed by Noble on track. Noble's got an unassailable lead out in front in the Williams. So now he's have to do it all over again. But as you said, he is on those option tyres. As Fizzy gets a hit from Martin, also gets a touch from Macaulay as well. Macaulay realises that he was in the wrong there and allows the Red Bull to carry on, which is very sporting. But it looks as though somebody missed their braking point up towards the Roger chicane, and it all kind of that kind of accordion effect. They all kind of concertinaed up together, and that saw Fizzy come out the worst. He's dropped a couple of spots down to 7th. Now on board with Mazy as he heads onto the pit straight. This is on lap 11. He's coming under attack from Martin, who's looking to make his way back through the field after his earlier troubles. And thanks to the straight line speed, these cars are both carrying the Ferrari engine, but it's the Works car that is sailing past into third place. And now we've got, this is SE Racing under attack from Minty as they head down into the Rettifilio. And SE's going to hold the inside line, and Minty's going to stick it around the outside. It's a bold move, he can pull it off. And he has indeed. So into fifth goes the Toro Rosso. And a great move there so far. Good to see the Caterhams up there fighting for a decent points finish nonetheless. And just ahead is this battle that's still going on now for third place between Martin and Mazy. And once again, SE Racing Team, these Caterhams can't leave these cars alone, because a bit of a nudge there from SE on the back of Minty's car, but it's not enough to unsettle the Toro Rosso in front. Head to the first Lesmo and across the curbs. Then the second one's slightly tighter radius, but it's equally as fast. You have to be very careful. That huge sand trap on the left-hand side can easily catch you out. And now we see SE does limit to want to save some fuel whilst he's in the draft with DRS, saving his curves, I'm pretty sure, for when they get back onto the pit straight. And this time finds his braking point sensibly enough not to hit the back of anyone. And a very high-speed chicane is Ascari. Onto the back straight they come towards Parabolica. And then Mazy in the tow of Martin. So I'm pretty sure he's got no curves left, but of course he has been gone for 12 laps on those prime. In fact, no, he hasn't. He's been gone for quite a while. So into the pits comes Mazy. He's on quite a multiple stop strategy. He must be on a 3-stopper in some cases, as he now heads into the pits for another set of tyres. There's Fisi Fan in 7th. The Sauber boys go to work. Fresh set of prime tyres on, and away he goes. So of course he'll be on fresher tyres for a shorter period, but for kind of more time, if you like. But of course, with the extra stops, he'll be losing a lot of time. As Ricky on his fresh tyres, he's caught up to the back of the pack and has set a 122.5. Even though he is on, we believe, I think that was the option tyre. Yes, it is. So making the most of that softer compound to close in. His first target is going to be Jason. Of course, the Force India are down to one car already because Callum is out of the race.
Yep, so Ricky's now actually caught up to the back of the train that I was speaking about. It's kind of slightly, there's a bit of gaps coming in the train, you must say. There's 3 cars ahead of him now, I think there is. Yep, going through the Lesmos now, and there's a bit of a gap up to 5th place. So Ricky's going to have to try and dispatch of these cars as quickly as possible to make use of the fresh rubber that he is on right now, because the option tyres will go off quicker than the primes, and that's going to be the same sort of thing that Limitless is going to have to manage as well, who is in 2nd at the moment. He's on the option tyres and he's trying to set in some quick lap times, but he's then going to have that sort of degradation stage where that his tyres will be a lot worse than the prime runners behind him, such as Martin in the Ferrari. So Limitless, although he's stretching out his lead at the moment in 2nd place, he may well come under pressure later in the stint, because he did pit very early on his first stint of prime tyres. I think it was lap 7, so he's going to have to push these option tyres quite far in order to make 2-stop work, because I think 3-stop is really not the optimum strategy here, which is what Mazy is going for, and maybe that's why he has got so far up the pack. It's because he's gone in, got some fresh rubber, and managed to get a lot of, some undercuts on some cars, but he's going to have to, it's probably about 20 seconds in the pit lane, and I don't think he's really going to be able to maintain or make that gap up by pitting an extra time. So Mazy may well find himself at the bottom end of the points, as these guys are really fighting hammer and tong, with Macaulay trying to go around the outside of Fisi but having to cut the chicane, and surely he's going to have to give the position back to Fisi there, but because he's maintained position after cutting the chicane. But we shall see. Fisi's going to have a look at the inside. Is he? No, he's not. Maybe Macaulay's going to give up the position here at the DRS zone. And here we go. So Fisi's going to have DRS. He's not using any of his curves at the moment. RickeeyC in 8th position. So he's got past Jason in the McLaren up into 8th position now. So he's got half his curves ready for this next straight. I'm sure he's going to attack the next 2 cars. He's right behind Fisi at the moment in the Red Bull. And here we go. Is Ricky going to use any of his curves? Yes, he is, because now he's going to get the slipstream from the Caterham ahead of him as well. So he should be able to make this move stick down towards Parabolica. Can he make it stick round the outside, or is Fisi going to outbrake him? He's broken slightly later, but Ricky's had sideball glitch into the gravel. Ricky's race has gone from bad to worse, and Fisi is in fact waiting, I think, or is he carrying on? No, he's carrying on, because I think he's realised that that was a sidepod glitch and not really anything he could do, as Ricky's race just goes from bad to worse. And I don't know if he's going to have to pit or not. I don't think he is. I don't think he lost any front wing, but here we go. Here's a replay. Scott, what's your take on this?
If it is a sidepod glitch, I mean, look, when you see Fisi's not done anything wrong there, he's been pushed into the barriers, so he's not as if he's turned across. You see Ricky here turning in, and to be fair, you see Fisi's not turning left. It has to be a sidepod glitch. So that's the reason why Fisi did wait for a second, but then realised, well, he didn't actually do anything, so there's no reason for him to wait. And it is just an unfortunate situation, of course, that these glitches do occur, and it does mean, that, well, for one thing, it's meant that Limitless has gone across the gravel. Now, was there contact with Martin? I don't think there was. With him, well, I'm not quite sure, because Martin's had some lag problems, so was that a major lag bubble? Well, Martin seems to think so, because he looks like he's waiting on the parabola for straight and allows Limitless to glide back past into second place. I wonder if we could possibly get a replay of that. I don't think we can, because there'll be no viewpoint from Martin's car, so I'll have to wait and see. But Limitless is going to be coming in, I think, in the next couple of laps for his second set of tyres. Because, of course, he's done a stint on these option tyres in the middle of the race rather than the end, as Fisi's still running wide on the exit of that corner, and he's now pulling into the pits to, I think, make a second stop. So in fact, yes, he's going on to a second set of prime tyres, and of course with the lighter fuel, that means he'll be able to do 12 laps, and also he's getting a front wing change as well after the contact with RickeeyC back at the parabolic a lap ago. So he's now going to trundle down pit lane. He's back down to the back of the field. Back to the battle for second, though. Limitless holding on from Martin. Of course, both these cars, we said, Ferrari powered. Toro Rosso versus Ferrari, and the Works car trying to get past the Toro Rosso. Of course, it was the championship winning car last year in the hands of Noble and Matty, but of course they've moved on to the Williams. But Limitless proved this car is still very strong. Of course, he took his first ever AOR victory last time out. The first victory, of course, of any race now. It's been rebranded to AOR, so he got the honour of being the first AOR branded victor. But he's looking currently second. But the unassailable lead of 14 seconds that Noble has at the moment. In fact, speaking of Noble, here he is, and he's looking to make his second stop, change onto those prime tyres. So a similar strategy to that of Fisi. He's gone just as long, I think, on those prime tyres, and he'll be coming in to do 10 laps. And the wear rate shouldn't be too bad, of course, as he is going to be on a lighter fuel load, as the same with Fisi. So Williams boys go to work. Off he goes, 3.1 seconds, lovely quick stop, and Limitless follows him in. And Martin in too. So this is going to be battle of the pit crews, Toro Rosso versus Ferrari. And which one's going to be coming out quicker? He's going to be able to come out on top as Minty, and also in second place, this is Qualy, SE, sorry, battling with Minty at the first chicane for the lead, but of course with the fresher tyres that Noble's on, he should get past them in no time at all. As Limitless gets out, he's lost the place to Martin in the stops, so an incredible work by the Ferrari boys to get the debutant, only his second AOR race out, and Martin's actually gone straight on at chicane. Now that was quite intriguing, because was he trying to get out in front of the car that's just passed him? I'm not quite sure, but it's all action stations with 10 laps to go. But it looks as though at the moment Noble's got it sewn up, but it's all to play for second place.
Yeah, it looks like Martin got a little bit wobbly under braking going down towards turn one. Maybe he was trying to get ahead of the, I'm not too sure who it was, but it's probably someone who's yet to stop. But Martin had to go across the chicane. There's no worries about that, because he didn't gain an advantage by the looks of things. It looks like Limitless may have actually gained a bit of time on him after having a poor exit. But we're now on board with the race, well, what is technically the race leader, Noble. He's straight on the back of SE on the fresh prime rubber, and he is now going to use all of his curves to try and get past the catering driver. He goes to the outside, and I'm sure he's going to make the move stick before he's even got down to the last corner. He has indeed, up into second at the moment. I'm sure he's going to reclaim first very soon indeed from TRL Minty, who's probably going to be coming into the pits this lap as well. Yes, he is. He peels off into the pits. So does SE. So Noble retakes what is just the biggest gap we've seen for a long time, and everything's worked out for him, and everything's not worked out for people like Limitless in qualifying, Matty disconnecting, and then just everybody else getting caught up in turns 1 and 2. Martin having a huge lag spike, so really the gods have been looking down on Noble today, as Limitless and Martin are still fighting very hard indeed. But coming down towards turn 1, Limitless has got the position from Martin this time around, and here comes SE and Minty coming out of the pits as well, so they are not far behind at all. They're in the fight for second place as well. So Minty and SE Racing Team having a very strong race, and a potential podium is up for grabs here, as Fisi is just not particularly driving very well after that incident with Ricky, and I'm not surprised. He's probably very stressed after driving reasonably well and having, you know, quite a good race up until that point. But here we go, SE struggling slightly on the cold rubber at the moment, trying to just about stay with Minty and the pack ahead so he can get DRS coming through Lesmo 1 and now Lesmo 2, another right-hander, and he's going to get DRS probably just about from Minty, and he does indeed. So Minty looks like he's actually fallen a little bit away from Martin at the moment, so maybe Limitless and Martin, who've got the warmed up rubber, are starting to pull away at the moment, but I'm sure Minty will have something to say about that, as we're now back on board with the catering driver. And who's that? Is that Minty running wide? It is indeed. So SC's actually got back past, got past Minty up into 6th place now, as we're still waiting for a few people to pit, one of them being RickeeyC, who looks like he is struggling very much so on those option tyres, and I think he's going to peel into the pits for I don't know, maybe another set of options if he wants to risk it, but I'd say primes to be safe. Here we go. He's going on the option, so he's going for another set of option tyres. His strategy will depend. If he set quite a few qualifying laps, then his tyres won't be in tip-top shape because they won't be particularly fresh, as he would have done 1 or 2 laps on them, as Limitless suffers a slight lag spike. Nothing like what we saw Martin have earlier on lap 1, I think it was. But Martin just about managing to not get ahead, and Limitless staying in 3rd position. Mazy out in 2nd at the moment, but he's going to have to pit again. He's only 6.3 seconds ahead. So Mazy's strategy call, I don't think it's going to work at all, because he really did have a chance, I think, of getting in the top 5 if he had sort of maybe even converted to a 2-stopper and lost a bit of time on some older tyres. But he's stuck with a 3-stopper, and we'll see where he ends up by the end of the race in 8 laps' time.
So of course, Mazy on that 3-stop strategy, as we said, of course, he's going to drop right down the pack, somewhere in the middle of the top 10. So he's got it all to do on that one. As Noble, of course, just extending that lead further and further. He's actually got, looking at the gap, it's about a 17-second advantage, or so 18-second advantage, in fact, over Limitless by the time that Mazy comes into the pits to fit his make his 3rd stop, I should say. And in fact, here he comes. In fact, so 121.689 from Noble as he pumps in another fastest lap of the race. So Mazy, let's see how far he's going to drop down and where exactly he's going to come out, because the majority of the pack are coming past now. So stop's done. He's down to P6. Now he's Fisi going to get out in front of him here. We're on board with the Red Bulls. He heads down the pit straight to start lap 20. Now whereabouts is Mazy? There he is. He's now at pit exit and accelerating away from the line. Fisi's going to try and get down the outside, and he has managed to get it done. So it's not been good enough for Mazy. This 3-stop strategy hasn't really worked out for him. He's back down to 10th. Meanwhile, Limitless and Martin still fighting over 2nd place. Martin trying to go to the outside, trying to get him under brakes for the Roger chicane. Limitless is all over the curbs, as is Martin, but Martin's got himself in front. So the Ferrari takes 2nd, but Limitless isn't done yet. He's still going to try and fight back around the outside, but Martin has the line covered, and this very impressive rookie in the AOR F1 is making a huge impact in only his 2nd race. And he's doing a fantastic job to get himself into 2nd place and ahead of Limitless. So as they head now down towards Ascari, and Limitless thinks better of trying to make a move and just allows him just to sit in front and just let him worry about what he's going to do next. But then again, we've got to remember Limitless there, it looks like he's going to have to make another pit stop, and he'll be going on to the option tyres at the end after 2 stints on the primes.
Again, Scott.
Oh, is he not? Oh, okay, not a problem. It's just I saw pit stop was flashing up, so my mistake. Must have been obviously staying out for quite a while longer then. So until the end of the race. Meanwhile, the 2 Red Bulls, they're about to go into combat, and of course, you know what happens with dueling teammates. Sometimes it doesn't always work out, but we'll wait and see how this one plays out. So Tracy's going to move across. Oh, he doesn't see Fissi's there. Oh, I think Tracy may want to go into the pits, and as a result of that, Macy's comes shooting past on the outside and goes straight through into 9th spot. So in fact, no, Fissi's actually stayed out. But Fisi stayed out as well, so both Red Bulls stayed out. There was a major miscommunication between the pair of them, and that really has put paid to any chance of moving up through the field, as Fisi now is coming up onto the tail of, I think that's possibly Jason 97 F1. Now meanwhile, Minty is now under attack from Messi Racing Team once again, so these two resume their duel. And the important thing is that they're supposed to close in on the gap battle between Martin and Limitless. And the important thing is here now that Minty is providing one pin to Limitless, and that's backup, because of course that's his teammate in front of him. And if these guys can both put on pressure on Martin at the same time, if Minty can get that close, it'll really help him out in the long run. As we see Limitless getting through, and now Mazy's caught right up onto the back of Fisi as they head now side by side onto the pit straight into Rich Mix 3 for the Sauber. And let's just see how much power that Ferrari engine really has. DRS is open for Fisi, so he's going to be able to slot back in behind. But Mazy's got it also on the Force India in front of him as they hit the brakes for the Resifilia chicane. And Mazy's into 8th, and of course he'll be straight onto the back of the Force India Mercedes in front of him. So lots of action going on in the final 5 laps then, as positions look to be swapped. But so far, as you can see on the bottom left of the mini-map, he's already at Ascari. Noble just sailing away with another almost easy victory. And it's all about who's going to come out in second place, because this pack is really closed up. And it looks like there'll be some sensational racing. There's a 4-car scrap going on. There's a 3-car scrap going on for 7th, 8th and 9th with Ricky a couple of places behind. So it's all action stations here as we head into the final 5 laps of this Italian Grand Prix.
I think you might have to make that 5 cars, in fact, because I'm just looking. Fisi's in 9th, and here's Mazy in 8th. So you've got Jason ahead, and then you've just got a cluster of cars going down towards the last corner now. So yes, Qualy as well's joined the fight. So there is in fact a 5-way scrap for second place, and that is going to be very interesting indeed to see who comes out on top of that. There's a slight gap you can just see on the mini-map. I think it's maybe Qualy and I'm not sure who the other person is, just slightly behind, but I think they might be able to get DRS. Here we go, it's SE Racing Team. So these two are fighting at the moment. SE didn't get DRS on the cars ahead, so these two are slightly falling back as we're now on board with Fisi coming down the straight and trying to get past Jason 97 F1 down the straight, but they've both got DRS, so it's basically who's got the best engine, and it looks like Fisi's actually got slightly better acceleration, and he's coming down towards turn 1 now, and he makes the move stick up into 8th position. Mazy just ahead on a slightly fresher set of prime tyres. I'm actually quite surprised that Mazy didn't go on the option tyres with 7 laps to go, but he went on the prime tyres. He wanted to be safe, and it looks like he's making it work at the moment, because I think 7th is about as much as he's going to be able to get here this afternoon, as Fisi slides through that chicane and just about manages to keep it on the track, as Limitless is now coming under pressure once again with 4 laps to go. Martin goes straight past, up into second place again, but it is pretty much like this every single lap with the DRS zones, and whoever's at the front of the train is usually just it's a sitting target, to be honest. And it looks like Limitless actually had a bit of, well, his exit was compromised, and his Minty right behind him. Let's have a look. If he's going to look behind us, he's not going to give us any help at all. But Limitless is actually back in the slipstream of Martin, so he's managed to maintain 3rd position going down towards the last corner and now towards the very, very long straight. And this is where Limitless is probably going to get back past Martin. Yes, he does. He saved half of his curves, and he's going to have DRS as well, so he's back up into 2nd place. And from looking at Limitless's point of view, a few laps ago he had +1 lap of fuel, so I think it's only just gone down to optimal, meaning he's got a little bit of fuel to play with towards the end of the race, meaning he might be able to defend from Martin quite easily. It depends, because we don't have a point of view from Martin, so we don't know how much fuel he has. But what with him having the lag spike earlier on in the race, I wouldn't be surprised if Martin is on minimal fuel, and that may well pay dividends towards the end of the race. So now back on board with Fisi in the Red Bull, and he's actually managed to get it within the slipstream of Mazy, and right behind him now, despite having worse tyres. Here we go, he's going to have DRS as well, and he's going to fly up the inside of Mazy CZ and up into 7th place. Yeah, as I said, I'm very surprised that Mazy didn't go on the option tyres, where he may well have been able to stretch the gap. He may have struggled towards the end of the race, as Fisi is struggling as well, sliding through the chicane. But Mazy's now got back past and back up into 7th position. Jason just looking on at these two just behind and hoping that these two are going to have some sort of collision, I'm sure. But now Fisi is back in the slipstream again. I'm not sure he's going to have a try down like Alonso did in real life around the outside, but he's actually maintained and stayed in 8th position, and Jason just behind him, the Force India, in 9th. But these three are having a great scrap, and who also is having a great scrap is SE and Qualy. SE's just managed to stay within DRS, but it looks like it's a 3-way horse. We haven't said that for a while for 2nd place, Scott. And who's your money on?
First of all, I was tempted to say 5-way horse. We mentioned the 5-car battle, but I wasn't sure if you would disapprove it or not, so I kept my mouth shut. But anyway, yeah, it's going to be really intriguing. Of course, the two Caterhams are fighting amongst each other, so they're not exactly going to be doing each other a favour if they're going to keep on scrapping, as Qualy's got a little bit loose on the exit. A lot of drivers have done that by getting a wheel onto the exit grass at Parabolica, and this will now allow SE to sail past his teammate. But of course, what this has now done is allowed the 3 cars in front to pull quite a substantial gap of about 2 or 3 seconds. So these guys are going to have to realise that they have to stop pussyfooting around and get on with it and try and get to the back of the field. But of course, with a 2-second gap to make up in 2 laps, it's going to be incredibly difficult. As still, we're watching Fisi and Mazy go at it head to head into the first chicane on the penultimate lap, and both getting a little bit sideways on the exit. But Mazy with a little bit better traction, using all the curves, about half of his curves available to him, to push himself on the outside. But of course, this will give him the inside run for the chicane into rich mix 3 to get that little bit more edge of speed back into standard mix 2 and under brakes underneath the bridge, and then flick left and right through the Roger chicane. And Fisi's had to give it up. Small piece of contact and tyre rubbing, and Mazy, I thought for a second he was going to just back off there and let him through because he realised there was some contact. But then again, Fisi did touch wheels, so of course he's had to sit behind and see what he can do. But now sitting right here, he's got more curves available, and more importantly, he will have DRS. It flicks on now, rear wings open, and now as we see on the screen, Noble has started the final lap of the Grand Prix as Fisi and Mazy still go at it. Up the inside goes the Red Bull into Ascari chicane, gets the job done, 7th place. But is it all done? Because Mazy now has a better run, and he can now get himself on the outside. Wonderful scrap, bit more contact down towards the Parabolica as they're going to prepare to start the final lap, and these guys are doing so right now. It's Limitless, Martin and Minty battling over second, third and fourth, and the two caterers are still fighting it out. There's 3 separate scraps going on track at the same, 4 scraps in fact, because we've got Ricky up the inside of Jason chasing after Mazy. This could be a 3-car scrap between Fisi, Mazy and Ricky, all for 7th place. There are battles galore on the final lap of the race. This is going to be absolutely incredible. I can't call it. It's too close. As Mazy trying to go down the outside of Fisi. How's this going to play out, Matty? This is going to be so fascinating as we head on to the final tour of Monza.
Yeah, the only unfortunate thing is it's not for first position, as Noble has well and truly won this race from pretty much lap 1. And we're now on board with Limitless, who is in 2nd place. So he has decided to stay in front of the pack behind him for the DRS zone that he is about to go through. We've now cut to Mazy, who's trying to get past Fisi for 7th place. Here we go. Is Martin going to get past Limitless down towards this, down towards the Ascari? He's having to, he's looked to the left, as you can see by the arrow, but he's just stayed behind, and now Limitless has actually saved half of his curves as Noble comes over the line to take victory here at Monza. So he has just commanded this entire race, and he has won by a huge margin. As Mazy is now going to the outside down towards Ascari. Can he get past Fisi? He slightly touches the rear wheel, and he's actually lost the car. And that's Ricky into the back of Mazy as well. So Ricky's given Mazy a boost, and Mazy's now lost another position to Jason 97 F1 as Limitless does take 2nd position. And I'm actually hearing in my ear that Martin lost 3rd position to Minty on the last corner. Unfortunately, we don't get a point of view from either of them. But Martin actually lost a position and has lost connection, so I'm sure he is not happy at all. Fisi comes home in 7th, Jason in 9th, and Mazy finishing in 10th position after trying a very opportunistic move round the outside, trying to get past Fisi. And here's a replay of Limitless, and you can see there's the replay of Minty getting past Martin. I don't know if there's a bit of contact here. Yes, it looks like Martin got slightly, maybe it was a side pod glitch, I'm not sure, but Minty taking a podium position, and Martin unfortunately after a brilliant drive down to 4th. And this is a replay of SE just about managing to stay ahead of Qualy, and he does, and he finishes in a very strong 5th position. So a great drive from SE, probably one of the most inconsistent drivers I know in AOR F1. 1 minute he's in 13th, and the next minute he comes home and finishes in a very decent 5th position. And here's a replay, so Mazy just trying. Oh, this is the battle, sorry, this is the lap before. And here we come. Look, he's just coming around the outside, and he's just trying to hang it just in the slipstream, but he's turned into Fisi's right rear wheel and then caused Ricky to hit into the back of Mazy. But I'm sure Ricky won't be complaining, as he does actually still gain a position despite getting a bit of front wing damage. But Scott, that was quite exciting. Obviously, we would have liked it for first position, but Noble was untouchable today.
Well, it's certainly been an incredible fight all the way up and down the field, but effectively there's one man who's been completely untroubled, and I think you can find it's this man on the screen. Once again, this man never fails to amaze. Of course, give him the chance to run away and he will take the victory and absolutely dominate, and he's won it by a country mile today. Customary celebration for Noble, another victory, and you can't really say anything other than well deserved. Look at the margin, 18 seconds. It's been a fantastic run, and Traceman, look at that, finishing down in 11th but gets the fastest lap of the race. So incredible stuff from everyone involved. What a brilliant race, and of course hope that's really done Monza justice. Absolutely fantastic.
It has indeed. The race classification after 27 laps, and Noble takes the victory from Limitless, 18.6 seconds ahead, so a huge margin. Just Limitless finishing ahead of Minty in 3rd position, and Martin actually missing out on a podium position on the last corner at Parabolica. I'm sure he is not going to be very happy at all, especially if there was contact involved. SE Racing Team, a very strong position for him in 5th in the Caterham, just beating his teammate Qualy in 6th. Fisi Fan coming home in 7th after a very eventful race, let's put it that way, after turn 1. RickeeyC coming home in 8th position after his various mistakes as well. Jason 97 F1 coming home in a very, I think it usually comes home in about 9th or 10th, so a solid 2 points for him. Mazy CZ, a 3-stop did not work for him today, and a mistake on the last lap means he finishes in 10th position, with Traceman 92 the only person to finish that doesn't get any points today, unfortunately, finishing a lap down and not having a very good race at all. Very disappointing from him. I'm sure he didn't put much practice in. And the 2 people that didn't finish, I didn't actually see, but you saw it on the screens there. And then we had 2 other people that didn't start, and Big Shot, who actually left the league before this race. So the Drivers' Championship, Noble with a very commanding lead with 225 points. Limitless in 2nd position after Matty. Well, he actually was that 33 points ahead of Matty now after Matty disconnecting on the grid. RickeeyC in 4th position still, so there's going to be no changes in the top 8, but Minty going up to 9th and Martin up to 10th after their strong results. Contadin's unfortunately going down to 11th and Mazy 12th. Mazy really could have had a good result here today had he got the strategy right. And SE Racing Team launching himself out of the relegation spots and up into 13th, but on the cusp, as he is on the same points as Jason97 F1, with iPro X Callum only on 7 points at the moment, with 10 rounds gone. That's very disappointing for him. But Scott, it was a very interesting race. As you can see, the Constructors' Championship, Williams still storming ahead, but what can we expect in the coming races?
Well, I think one thing is that because of Mazy's disconnection, he's on the back foot into the final of the race of the championship. He's going to be desperately wanting key results. Of course, Williams will need it as well. Of course, all that work that Noble's done, as Mazy as well, has kept them in the lead of the championship. And of course, Toro Rosso are going to be up there, and they've taken quite an edge over McLaren, because McLaren didn't score as many points as they would have liked to, with Randy not racing and Ricky down the pack. Red Bull have lost out, but Caterham were the big winners today, 5th and 6th for their 2 drivers. They're certainly rocketing up the table, and Ferrari have dropped down, of course, with only 2 cars. Only 1 car, was Martin only getting a 3rd place. But Martin's definitely had a very impressive start, and of course his impressive start for his 3rd race of the season will continue as we head to Korea. But what a great spectacle it's been today. More great racing that the AOR prides itself on, and I'm pretty sure that continue at another Tilkedrome is the Korean Grand Prix, of course, the Yongam circuit.
Oh yes, next week is the Korean Grand Prix. I hope you guys will join us. It's been a very exciting race this afternoon, and I'm sure it will be action-packed as well at the Korean Grand Prix. So thank you very much, Scott, for commentating with me today.
Not a problem, as always. I'll see you guys in Yongam.
We'll see you next week for the Korean Grand Prix. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.